let's talk about the situation in a couple different places around the National Football League, and we'll start with Cleveland. He's there. Shedeur Sanders has arrived in Cleveland, waiting for the OTAs to begin, obviously meeting with the coaching staff. He's doing some charity stuff at some of the inner city schools in Cleveland in this time. First press conference, first words out of his mouth, I did not expect this. Now, I'm not sure whether he was making reference to, I didn't expect to be in Cleveland, or I didn't expect to be a 5th-round draft pick. So it's just fascinating. And I shared with John, somebody edited something together on YouTube and put it out there in the solar system. Shedeur Sanders' first press conference with him mumbling about the fact, I declined this draft pick. I'm not going to play in Cleveland. I don't want to be here. There's nothing in Cleveland for me.
That was a deep fake.
Yeah, deep fake.
Yeah.
I saw that and I said, oh, that's really kind of funny. Got to be very careful what you view sometimes on YouTube and what you believe, what you don't believe. Here's the other interesting quote, because somebody on a hot mic picked this up. The aftermath of the Browns drafting Dillon Gabriel in the 5th round early, and then coming back and stunning the world by taking Shedeur Sanders later in the 5th round, and the fact that both the general manager, Andrew Berry, and Kevin Stefanski didn't really smile when the cameras were on them after the pick was made. A lot of people reading between the lines, and now somebody had a hot mic, and the comment was made, we didn't expect to take 2 quarterbacks in this draft, which means Jim Haslam called down and said, you're taking Sanders at the back end of the 5th round. So this is going to be really interesting to see where this goes. I don't know how Stefanski divots up snaps in the OTA. He's got 4 active quarterbacks. And he's trying to teach them all. Flacco's been there, obviously, but he's got Flacco, and then he's got Kenny Pickett, the refugee from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Then he's got the Oregon quarterback and the Colorado quarterback. How are you going to ferret out enough snaps to give these guys an opportunity to build rhythm, et cetera? So that's Cleveland Browns story. That one really bears watching. Atlanta. Burner phones. They were supposed to be secluded phone numbers and all that. And Shedeur Sanders and a number of other players got prank calls. Well, they obviously found out. The defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons, Jeff Wilbrook, was given information, it was on his laptop, about the secure phone numbers for a whole number of draft picks, including Shedeur Sanders. His son was visiting, saw the number, jotted it down, went home and said, I'm going to pull a prank on this guy. Called and masqueraded himself that I'm such and such from the New Orleans Saints. We're about to draft you. And that wasn't true. Anyhow, the NFL did the investigation through the burner phones and found out the call came from Wilbrook's house. $350,000 in fines to the Falcons and to the defensive coordinator. I am a bit surprised that Jeff Wilbrook was not fired, that the NFL didn't order Atlanta to fire him. But why would you leave unsecured information on your laptop or for somebody to see, including his own kid? So that's quite a story there in Atlanta. Philadelphia. Do you want me to go with this topic? Eagles went to the White House. Not all of them, though.
Right. Okay,
Eagles went to the White House. Jalen Hurts did not go to the White House for the second time. 36 Eagle players did not go to the White House, including virtually the entire defense. So the guys that went there had a nice time with the president of the United States, took pictures, et cetera, et cetera. But 36 guys, including the quarterback, did not go, and they're not apologizing for why they did not go. The other story is a really sad story, involves the Denver Broncos and the legendary quarterback John Elway. His longtime player agent, marketing director, was with him on a golf cart in La Quinta on Sunday, and the player agent, Jeff Sperbeck, fell off the golf cart, cracked his head, catastrophic brain injury, died 2.5 days later. Oh. At this point, it seems like it was just a pure accident. It does not appear that Elway was speeding. He wasn't running over greens and stuff. They don't know if alcohol was involved, but Sperbeck he represented over 120 NFL players, including Elway. Just a really, really sad story there. So, John, you got all those other things from my notebook. Go ahead. Talk about Shedeur. Talk about burner phones in Atlanta. Talk about the Eagles in the White House. Go ahead.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. I don't know how all those quarterbacks are going to work in Denver. I mean, in Cleveland. Yeah. So they'd have to let at least one of these guys go. I mean, it seems like Kenny Pickett getting released is such an obvious move, isn't it?
They just got him. It doesn't make any sense. You know, I had a guy who covers the Browns told me yesterday he's of the opinion that one of these rookie quarterbacks is going to play this year. I said, how's that possible? These guys, they're not going to be a starting quarterback in Cleveland as raw rookies. If they were, they're fifth-round draft picks. So, it's either going to be Flacco and Pickett with one of the other rookies as probably on the developmental squad. But the burning question is, you don't have enough time to install everything you want to install in your OTAs and in training camp, and then give the kids the bulk of the snaps because you're trying to get ready for the season with another new quarterback in Pickett. Flacco's different because he's been through this 1,000 times and he played in Cleveland prior. So I just know there's enough hours in the day, enough snaps in the day to be able to actually implicate 2 fifth-round draft pick quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think Flacco's the kind of veteran you sort of plug him in and he'll carry the load for, maybe a half a season. But the Cleveland Browns aren't going to be competitive for the playoffs, right?
They got a great defense.
No, but still, I mean, there's just no way. I mean, so I can imagine, especially the fans too. I mean, they're going to be clamoring to see their new young quarterback, especially if it's Shedeur. So I agree. One of those young quarterbacks is going to play. The question is maybe Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders going to get traded? Is Pickett going to get released? Or are they going to give up on Flacco? I mean, to me, it makes sense that you would have Flacco as your initial starter, either Gabriel or Sanders as your number 2, and then who knows as number 3.
Yeah, but then number 3, if it's Pickett, because he's a veteran, could make a significant amount of money.
Well, good reason there not to use him.
But then why did you go get him to begin with?
Well, because you didn't think that they were going to draft Shedeur. The owner screwed everything up.
Nope, that's the owner. Yeah. Okay, that's all things NFL football. Feel free, jump on board. Nah, you don't have time to jump on board there. Everybody's jumping on board, talk about Belichick and the Babe. That's what we want to talk about. One